What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Archer Exchange. My name's Austin, and with me we got Crypto Eric, and we're just gonna jump right into what we're gonna be covering in today's episode. You want to take it away, Eric?
Yeah, so episode 3 we're doing today, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be covering like some of the different purposes of crypto, what they do, because a lot of people don't understand that, or they just think it's only a scam.
Yeah.
So we'll be going over some of that material today, and then we're going to be bringing in the latest news today. I know everybody's seen Bitcoin pumping up pretty good today.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And also we're going to be going over coin of the day. I know a lot of sports fans out there, and there's a particular coin we'll be covering that is in the sports sector, and it has a reward platform that uses blockchain technology, and it's actually accomplishing like a digital transformation in the sports world. So it's kind of like a pretty new deal going on there, and but basically that's about what we're going to be covering on this show. So if you want to get into the first part of it.
All right. So the basically, like I said, education-wise, we're gonna go over the utility of crypto, and to understand the utility of crypto, I feel like it's important to cover like why it was created in the first place. And now many of you may know, if you know about crypto, that it was created back in 2009, and it was created for the purpose of allowing the people to be in control of their money, due to the financial crisis back in 2008, whatever the case may be. And so it has a decentralized aspect, because back then when we had that financial crisis, the banks was in control of your money, and people was in fear of losing their money, losing their houses and stuff like that. You didn't have control of your own money, and that really, to me, don't make no sense.
Because, not fair.
You go to work every day, and you work for that money that you earn, right? And it's kind of terrible to think that they can, basically, they're in control of your money. So again, that's why crypto was created, and Bitcoin being the first one, being a peer-to-peer network, and it relies on miners mining Bitcoin to secure the network. And like I said, it's peer-to-peer, so it's everybody, people in general, coming together to
it's a security for it.
Yeah,
like the mining and stuff. Yeah,
secure the blockchain and stuff like that.
Rate.
And so again, when it came to crypto, not just for the decentralized aspects and stuff like that, is it gives you that extra, what you could say, financial part where a lot of people rely on cash, or rely on the bank. This gives you a third option, where now you have a digital asset, and
like the wave of the future.
Yeah, I was about to say we're in the technology era anyway, and so this is like the next step.
The one that started it all.
Yeah, pretty much, and it's just
gives you your keys to your money,
growing and growing, and not to mention it's for low cost money transfer. Whenever you transfer money from peer to peer, which would be from, like, say, me and him, transfer money from each other, it's low cost. They also have a feature where you can earn interest and staking your crypto, and it's not just Bitcoin. It could be Polygon, Solana has staking, Avalanche has staking, Cardano, all these different cryptocurrencies that allow you to earn interest off of your money.
Right.
Now, a lot of banks don't allow that, right?
And you get paid in that coin.
And you get paid in that,
like Bitcoin, if you're staking Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever.
So not to mention, so they got the low cost money transfers. They have the interest earning, staking your coins, and then it is a low censorship resistant alternative store of wealth.
It's also fast too.
Yeah,
like fast. The payments, the transaction speeds and stuff is fast with it.
Right. And so just a few talking points that we was trying to cover was investing in early innovative startups, make private transactions, send non-cash remittances, and getting paid to post content, also creating content as well, like NFTs. When
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
like say you're an artist or whatever, if you're pretty good at drawing, you can digitalize that drawing and sell it on the marketplace and get paid for it.
That's
So,
like smart contracts and
right,
like Ethereum type stuff started all that. The use case for that. Whereas like Bitcoin, you couldn't. They, it's not set up that way.
yeah,
They didn't have that technology when it first came. Still not set up that
Right,
way. But they're working on it now. They're actually trying to like add that utility to Bitcoin. A lot of the wrap it and stuff. Where you can.
So Bitcoin to me
things.
is mainly about transfer of money and being able to spend that money. Like I said, it was created mainly for people and to get away from the USD primarily.
Yeah.
Not really all the other aspects of it. So you have other projects like say Gala, Cardano, Solana, Avalanche, and all these different projects. They actually have their own utility cases, each one being unique, and you just got to know which one to look for, and when you're doing your research and stuff like that, right? Because,
Right.
Like I said, Bitcoin being money transfer and mining and getting rewarded for mining and spending all that startup money.
Yeah.
You get rewarded for.
And it's kind of evolved over time. Now it's become more like a store of value too. And because now with the price of Bitcoin coming up, nobody wants to exchange as much because it go up higher than you've lost out, kind of thing. So it's kind of changed its direction.
Not to mention deflationary, because
Yeah. Right.
the halving and everything.
Nobody wants to really spend it if you know what you got,
Right.
unless it's in a bull run or something like that.
Yeah.
But which so you got more people holding on stuff, whereas in the beginning, it's more
And you got different
peer trading and stuff.
And you got different types of traders too, right? You got day traders, swing traders, you got the accumulators. We've talked about it in other videos where, all that comes into play on what you're actually trying to accomplish, what your goals is.
Mm-hmm.
And, you always got to have a plan when it comes to investing, being an entrepreneur, and using your money because, you got to be able to tolerate losing money as well
Right.
as spending it. So, a lot of people, and that's another reason why a lot of people ain't in this space is because they're scared.
Scared, yeah.
They don't want to spend
It's
their
so
money.
new
but
too. It's not
just,
regulated
But
yet.
but if the money's just sitting there, it's just sitting there. It ain't doing them nothing. It's just sitting there. You don't plan on spending it anyway.
Right.
Why not invest in yourself type of deal?
Yeah, when if inflation comes up, then your money becomes less valuable while it's
Anyway.
sitting there too. So you're actually losing money.
Because everything else is going up.
Because your
in
buying
value.
power is going down, so you're actually can't buy as much as you can now as you can later. It's a huge deal, and also as far as Bitcoin, it's kind of like replacing gold in a way because gold, it's heavy, it's physical, and you have to store it somewhere. And if you have a lot of it, then you gotta have possibly have to have security guards. You always gotta worry about somebody breaking it and stealing it.
Not to mention USD used to be backed by gold. That's why it was so valuable.
Right, back in the day.
Yeah.
And it's highly divisible, so you can take Bitcoin and you can send just small satoshis, off of it. Whereas, like, if you had gold, and so you want to pay somebody so much, you'd have to sit there and like cut off a piece of gold, kind of thing.
Right.
So it's not very divisible.
Yeah.
So and then also like just for the fact like if you try to move like gold from one country to another country, it's a huge deal.
Yeah.
You have to pay all kinds of fees and like
Big
go through
payment.
all this paperwork, and it's expensive and all this stuff. Whereas if you have Bitcoin, it don't matter if you go to another country or whatever, it don't cost you anything.
Right.
You still got it with you on the blockchain or your little ledger or whatever you got. So it just like totally just blows gold out of the water when it comes to like purpose and utility type thing.
Oh yeah.
And store of value, and people have caught on to that, over the years, and that's why everybody's buying it up when you see the huge gains that it gets and stuff like that.
Yeah, people. It's crazy too. Like when you look at the market, you'll see the price going up, and everybody starts jumping in, trying to ride it up. But when it's down, they don't want to purchase it. Oh, it's going to zero. It's going to zero, and it's starting to go down. Well, that's kind of weird to me because you wanna get in when it's low. You know what I mean? You don't want to jump in when it's up here, and then you start seeing it go down. And then start getting out of it.
Right. It's a lot of timing and stuff. Yeah. You got.
What's some more utility coins out there that
Oh, man.
bring utility, or what type of utility?
I mean, it just keeps growing too. Like Bitcoin had its main purpose when it first came out. A couple of different things going on with it, and now you've got like the coins like Gala's got the music nodes. They're getting the music, the filming,
Yeah.
the what else does they get? The got music, filming. Anyway, NFTs.
Yeah.
That's a big one. That's and DeFi
Start your own
projects
blockchain
like
and
staking
stuff.
and stuff, right? And then and then you've got like XRP with the banking
Yeah.
industry sector, where basically it's more for all the banks transferring and stuff, which is kind of like Bitcoin, but it actually does it cheaper, and it's a little bit different. But it's
Yeah.
like Bitcoin's been out for a while,
Oh,
and
excuse me.
it was like state of the art back then. Bless you. And it was like state of the art back then, but it's already been passed up by like everything. Like it's faster on transactions and cheaper
Right.
and stuff, like not everything, but most of it. So it's just like when the internet came out, you had AOL was everybody's using it, and it was and it takes forever to get on, slow. But everybody loved it because this is amazing, it's new, and that was state of the art back then. That's how it is with Bitcoin, kind of. I mean, I'm not talking about like Bitcoin's bad. It is what it is, and that's kind of why it's store of value too, because you're not going to sit there and be changing it off all the time and stuff.
It's the first
But-
one.
but it's-
so
yeah,
it's gonna be
exactly.
there. Right.
And then you've got the next one, Ethereum, where it adds to the smart contracts,
Yeah.
and then everything based on that layer 1 technology. And then you've got like Chili's is getting into the sports,
entertainment. Yeah.
and then I mean it just keeps growing like more and more and more. And then you got
Which we just told them what our coin of the day is gonna be.
Oops.
It'd be all right. Yeah.
And you've got like all kinds of stuff like coming on, and there's no telling like in the next 5 to 10 years what it'll be. You got security,
Yeah.
security coins,
Privacy coins.
privacy
Gaming
coins,
coins.
gaming, yeah, that's
NFT
huge.
project.
Play to pay, like
Play to earn.
yeah, play to earn. Nodes.
Yeah. Run
You've got the DeFi thing is huge too.
Yeah, DeFi.
Like where you can borrow against your
Layer
own money
1,
and stuff.
Layer 2, Web 3.
Yeah, Web3,
Oh,
Internet of
man.
Value. I mean, it just keeps going on and on for something that just started like what?
So the utility of crypto is there. You know what I mean? Like not every crypto is gonna survive. Like everybody tries to start a business, start a project. Even us starting this podcast right here, which is mainly for you guys and bringing you education and bringing you news and helping you understand what crypto is. You start this project and you only get what you put into it, type of deal, and that's what every business could be associated with, say, a crypto project. This team of guys coming together, or guys and gals, whatever, coming together to create this project. Well, they have good intentions
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, right? 9 out of 10 projects are started with a purpose.
Right.
Not to just scam people out their money and stuff like that. Not
Mhm.
saying that it don't happen, but most projects have good intentions and are trying to solve problems. It's just like people inventing everything. People invent this, that, and
Yeah,
third
they find a need
every day,
yeah.
and they try to
Yeah.
find a need. Now, it may or may not take off, and that's where doing your due diligence on your research comes in. And if it's something that you believe in, is something that the world needs or whatever, because a lot of people, they also just think simple-mindedly, and they'll think about this state or this area, like the United States, or
Yeah.
this crypto is worldly. It's going on
Yeah, globally.
in the whole world.
Yeah.
It ain't just the United States. It ain't just Canada. It ain't just Africa. It ain't just Brazil. It ain't just this. It's everywhere, and it's something that is getting updated, which is overdue, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's the only thing
I
that really
think-
hasn't been updated.
I think one day that we'll have our driver's licenses will be like NFTs.
Right.
Where there's
And
only
you'll
one,
own that,
and you'll
yeah.
have it on your wallet or on your phone or whatever, and you get pulled over or whatever,
Right.
and it's encrypted just for you. There's only one of it, just like we have now.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah,
gonna
you
be.
get a transaction or a token ID
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's coming
Yeah.
in the future.
It wouldn't surprise me because there's certain coins that's actually working on that. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I did some research on them, just like with medical records,
Yes.
dental records,
Yeah.
like you say, birth certificates and driver's license, stuff like that. All that'll be stored on the blockchain, because they have certain coins like the Graph, Filecoin. Filecoin is
Filecoin,
another
yeah,
one that's
yep. That's all that data
a
stuff.
data coin, and all its main purpose is to store your data, and you own it, right? And it's all tracked and traced and secure, and because a lot of this stuff, like people can sell your information, right? Like whenever you download an app on your phone and stuff, and they ask you about sharing your data and everything. Well, all that gets sold on the dark web or behind the scenes and everything. You wouldn't be able to do that with traceability and be stored
That's
on the
like
blockchain.
NewCipher is all that encoding stuff for like privacy. Like you go to the hospital and it's supposed to be where you'll be able to set it up where only certain people can see whatever you pick, to see your records and kind of thing. And it's like one way or something. I believe it's been a while since I looked at it, but like you can see it, but they can't see it, kind of thing. Like one of those mirrors, like you can see through, but they can't see you on the other side.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
And
it's
what
pretty wild.
And what about like HIPAA laws and like you talking about the medical stuff behind it, but how many times, like I know I've experienced it multiple times when in the Army, where you go to a doctor and you got to release your files to this other provider, or you got to release it to the Army.
Yeah.
And you got to sign for it.
Yeah.
For release documents or whatever.
All kinds of
needs.
needs.
Well, with that system right there, you would be able to approve it right there. You wouldn't have to go to that hospital.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever. And wait in line and try to fill out paperwork and whatever the case may be, because time is valuable and time is money. So the least amount of time that you can spend doing something, the better off you are.
Yeah.
And it don't
Look
matter.
at all the trees it's gonna save.
Yeah, right.
No, on the paperwork and everything. Everything can be digital. It'll be like you can have all this information, this little bitty in the blockchain, cloud or whatever, data centers and stuff. And there's no stopping it, kind of thing. I remember reading when I first got into this space years ago about an article talking about like one day that it could be set up in the future, not for a long time probably, but it could be possibly like a chain of events, basically. Like if you don't pay your rent, then the door gets locked on your apartment like automatically. Like nobody's doing it. Like it's just set up that way in the smart contracts where and if you wanted to unlock your door, you have to pay your rent, kind of thing. Like, that's the kind of stuff like they're talking about coming one day, possibly. That's the kind of technology, kind of like a sci-fi movie almost. Really,
it's crazy. I mean, 'cause you think about it, like every 5 years or every decade, it's just getting more and more advanced.
It's almost like you're getting out of the physical world sometimes with all this stuff you can't see really working behind the background. It's crazy.
So that's pretty much there's a lot of utility when it comes to crypto, whether it be safely, securely sending money, low cost transaction fees when sending money. A lot of people send money anyway, whether it's using Zelle, Cash App, Venmo, hell, Facebook Pay Facebook has their own little pay thing where you can send money to people. But they're trying to solve like simple problems. And again, it ain't from like me trying to send money from me to, or let's say California to Texas or nothing like that. This is talking about worldly again, because it's all around the whole world. Is you're sending money from one country to another country, which is big, because most of the time it would take a long time for money to receive with the old system, and well, not old, but I mean it's old, but it's the one that's currently being used type of thing. And so you got real world value when it comes to utilizing certain cryptos, and you got to know what to look for when you're investing in crypto, right? And researching what it does and what it's trying to solve, and who's leading the team, what they're trying to accomplish, whether it be sponsorships, partnerships, putting the work in and everything like that. But also you got like where does the value come from? I get asked all the time, uh, how crypto is valuable, and well, to me, what makes crypto valuable is obviously, again, it depends on what they're trying to accomplish, right? Because you got some coins that's deflationary, you got some that's inflationary, you got some that's just can produce as many as they want to, right? You know, but to me, the most valuable ones are deflationary because it's just like the world we live in now, where everything's based off of supply and demand. If I had one bottle of water, I could sell it to you at whatever price I wanted to. If I had 1,000,000 bottles of water, I could sell it to you at a cheaper price because it's unlimited, right? So it's that type of thing that goes into crypto as well. Bitcoin goes into a halving, every 4 years?
Yeah, every 4
So
years.
every 4 years, they half the amount of Bitcoin that's circulating and total supply. And so that's huge when it comes to certain coins that do that, have that deflationary mechanism, because the more people that want to try to buy it, well, if I own 50% of it, basically the price can be whatever I want it to be. And so it's that type of thing that makes crypto valuable. Like NFTs, what makes them valuable is there's a lot of artists out there, but unless you're pretty popular or you're a celebrity, a lot of people don't get recognized for their talent, right? Just like movie stars, and you know,
Right.
they went to school to do acting and everything like that. Well, okay, so there's another person that has talent and don't mind being on camera and stuff like that. He just didn't go to school, don't know how to get started, don't know where to go to get started, or he would have to travel here or travel there to do it. It's just, you know, this type of space right here allows anybody and everybody to basically a equal world to be in, you know, type of deal. Everybody's on the same level playing field, so to speak. So that's another good thing I like about crypto.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, it's amazing how it just keeps growing and growing and growing. And then you got competition, which is always good because you have another, other companies that are like coming out with something faster and more efficient and cheaper. And so, like, we were talking about earlier how Bitcoin started out, and then it's just, everything's coming up behind it, passing it up and stuff. And that's
Yeah.
good because that's what we need.
Yeah,
You always need competition, no matter what field that it's in or what business that it's in, because it's better for the people,
Right.
kind of thing. And every year, or not every year, but almost every year or every 2 years, it's like there's a faster coin, like it was Solana, and then I believe it's like Optimism now is faster than Solana. It used to be
Yeah.
Ethereum was the fastest and cheapest, but now it's like
all
way more
sorts of
expensive and
projects is
stuff.
out there that, you know, 0.0001 seconds, you know, or can handle 150,000 transactions in a second, you know, type of deal.
Yeah,
Well, see, Bitcoin is like, you know, your base level, and then everybody just piggyback off of it to get better and bigger and better type of deal. And so it's fine. Like I say, Bitcoin might not always be number one, but it was the first one that everybody kind of, grew from, branched off. And,
yeah.
you know,
Started a granddaddy of them all, and it's pretty
Yeah.
much the safest one out of all of them because it's been around the longest too,
yeah.
and it's got the biggest market cap.
Yeah,
and
they
all
say
that.
it's basically your safest bet if you can read the markets and everything like that, read the
Yeah,
charts.
or just go hold long term and
Yeah,
try
or-
to buy it in bear market and stuff to get
Right.
better gains and stuff. But yeah, it's there's a lot to it. I mean, it's fascinating technology, and a lot of people don't understand it. And that's why we're on here trying to teach and show, educate on how it kind of works, get the basics down. And I mean, you could talk all day long on some of this stuff, just like on the security part of it, how it all works with Bitcoin and stuff. And
Right.
and then it's like anybody can run the security too, which I think is fascinating. You can buy a ASIC miner and throw it in your house,
Yeah.
and you're contributing to the security of the whole network.
Yeah.
You know,
Securing it. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like this huge mining facility or something like
Yeah.
that. Which
Every
is,
little thing helps.
which goes along with Bitcoin was made for the people,
Yeah.
type of thing too. But of course, it all started growing, and getting more complicated. It started out with, regular, little laptop stuff, move to GPUs and then ASICs, and then
Yeah.
you know they're pretty much squeezing out the little man out of it, but you can still do it. And but yeah,
And they were getting rewarded for it too.
yeah, getting rewarded for it.
Getting paid, getting paid in Bitcoin, and then obviously, as the price of Bitcoin went up, if they held, I mean, they probably retired right now. You know what I mean? So that's crazy to think about too. Is back then when Bitcoin came out at the price it was, and the people, the early investors, and the one that actually seen this technology
Yeah,
and understand that it was going to be something one day. You know, them were the ones that they're doing pretty good right now. I'll say that. So you know that covers the utility and a little bit about the value behind it and certain aspects of crypto. Um, what else? What else? What
as
else
far
you
as-
think?
as far as the education part of it,
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I don't know if anybody's asking any questions. Like, if y'all, if anybody's watching or wants us to answer any questions on if you want to know about anything about crypto, you know, we can get into it. We can answer
Right.
them questions as well. So
I know a lot of people think that you like have to buy a whole Bitcoin instead of like just buying, because everybody's like, I can't afford to buy $20,000.
oh yeah,
You know, and then you have to like explain to them that you can buy a couple of dollars if you want to, or $10 or whatever. It doesn't have
Right,
to be.
right.
You know, I mean, the
Whatever you
exchanges
can
have their
afford.
minimum on there,
Yeah.
but it ain't much usually, like $5 or something or less. And then they don't understand how like it actually moves like to the blockchain and stuff too, and gets there and it's like sitting on there and that kind of thing. And then also like, oh, I'll tell you another good purpose utility for it too is the ledger. The blockchain is the ledger. You know,
Right.
it's just like if you had your bank account and you have a ledger. You know, you write down how much money you spent on this, and you add it up, and it tells you. You know, it keeps
Yeah.
track of everything, right?
Right.
And it's just a digital ledger is all it is.
Yeah.
Every transaction is on there, and it's immutable, which means it can't be reversed. And
Yeah.
anybody can look at it, you know, and that's huge, you know. And it's all, you know, like it's not private as far as like actually seeing the transactions and stuff. And so that builds confidence, and that's where you can see like when whales are moving like Bitcoin and different things from
Yeah.
here to there, you know, stuff where you wouldn't ever see that in the stock market. I guess, well, they have to report their earnings and stuff, but anyways, or banks at least, you would never see them doing that, moving it where you can see all that on the blockchains and stuff. I think was it Monero is a privacy coin. It's hard to
Yeah. Monero is
get away with
basically.
that.
I think it's one of the only ones that actually does not track the transactions and all that good stuff when you transfer money from one person to another, which that's why the government don't really like crypto as well, because they feel like it's a lot of manipulation, scams, and taking people's money. But I mean, hell, the government does it anyway. I mean, they do it to the people themselves. I mean, why are they being hypocrites when it comes to cryptocurrency? And they shouldn't have to know everything that you do with your money. You earned your money. You know, it don't matter if I go buy something, sell something. You shouldn't have to know about it. But anyway, that's just my views on it. They try to be in control of everything type of deal. So anytime like something comes up, you know, they're not familiar with, or something that's what do you call it, knocking on their door and threatening them, like, oh,
Yeah.
that's not good. Oh, that's security, and oh, you're selling stuff to the people. No.
Yeah, that's interfering with the banking industry,
Yeah.
and they're scared because they're gonna be losing money and stuff. And they, you know, it's too big to take out now. Bitcoin has grown too much; they can't do it now.
Yeah.
And
the
now
whole
you-
world, you know,
Yeah.
what I'm saying, they can't stop the whole world.
And now you can use Bitcoin to buy like cars and stuff, and even like certain websites you can go to check out. You know, say you can buy Bitcoin. There's,
Or even USD coin and USD.
yeah,
Tether,
yeah,
or-
that's true. It's taken off too. Even Ethereum and different things and stuff. And then
just stable coins, which is crypto. A lot of people don't understand that. Like we mentioned in our other episode 2, was where we talked about staking and earning the interest, which we covered a little bit. How
yeah,
the utility of crypto and how you can draw interest and staking. Well, that's stuff that they don't offer. They don't want you to have. So, I think the next part we're gonna get into is we're gonna get into the news of the day.
Yep.
You wanna pull up the
Let's see
news?
what's going on in the news of the day. Let's see, top stories. Okay, so everybody's kind of curious. But you can't always believe everything that you read on the news because there's a lot of manipulation and stuff going on with that too. They try to hide stuff and
Yeah, you gotta
all
be
that,
careful.
so you gotta be
what
careful with
websites
that.
you go with.
And sometimes it's pretty interesting the stuff they come up with. But this one's talking about 3 reasons crypto prices are rising today, and they're talking about new bull market starting, and which I don't know about that, but
Yeah, Bitcoin actually pumped up over 26,000. If you wasn't aware, it rose pretty high today, which was pretty interesting.
it said financial markets have been engulfed with fear in recent days as fears that a tumultuous sequence of banking crisis could become a contagion in the sector. It all started with the closure of Silvergate Bank. That was like a couple weeks ago. That was quickly followed by the implosion of Silicon Valley Bank, the 16th largest bank in America, and the bastion star of capital and VC funding. This too was driven by a run on deposits after gruesome details emerged surrounding the performance of SVB's bond portfolio. So that's what that Silicon Valley Bank is, that SVB.
Yeah.
Representing the biggest banking collapse since 2008. Concerns around the potential spread of a banking contagion took hold. That would be like back when all the banks were falling, around 2008. Everything got crazy and bad.
Crisis,
yeah. And this damage continues to spread today with several U.S. bank stocks seeing trading halted. The S&P 500 went negative year to day this morning as the Dow Jones and NASDAQ took a hammering. Meanwhile, Bitcoin has surprised markets with an encouraging bounce back above 20,000, being described as a Cyprus moment as investors race to find safer havens for capital outside of the fractional reserve banking system. Here are 3 reasons that helped explain the crypto prices are soaring despite the banking chaos this week. Circle puts SVB's fears to bed. Okay, so the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, the FDIC, began selling SVB assets to repay up to 50% of the deposits for its clients. Wow. This comes as a substantial relief of the legions of the USD coin holders that held their with despair as USD coin depegged over the last few days. Did you see that where it depegged?
Oh, yeah.
Lost its dollar rating. And then, the depeg came after a tweet from Circle revealed their exposure to Silicon Valley Bank crisis. As investors flocked to move their capital out of USD coin, the value dropped as low as 87 cents on the dollar, sending the industry into temporary disarray. Yeah, that's pretty scary. However, once over the weekend, USD coin has moved to repeg, having climbed back to 99 cents. So it came back. That's great.
Especially when that's supposed to be a stable coin, fiat, whatever.
Yeah. The effort to repeg has been significant support from. You remember when Terra Luna depegged and it went all the way down?
Man.
So, on-chain settlement is number 2. The worst of sell-off is over, despite several efforts to break upwards to retest 25,000. BTC price action has been suppressed by heavy sell pressure for almost a month, but the worst could be over for now. Indeed, looking on-chain, Bitcoin has faced 25 days of net inflow onto exchanges. In layman's terms, that means for 25 days, more BTC has moved onto exchanges than off of them into cold storage. This is typically a sell-off signal as investors move their BTC off their ledgers and onto exchanges to be sold.
Yeah. Most smart investors, they know to move their money off of the exchange into a cold wallet, and then when they get
Back
ready
and
to
forth.
sell, they'll move it off of their cold wallet to the exchange.
Right.
So, them are the ones that's more advanced and know what they're doing.
They got a lot of money too. That's why they're protecting it and getting ready and stuff, type of thing. However, as of yesterday, it appears that sell-off could now be over as the overall exchange net position change has finally reversed to net outflow. And then where's number 3 at? Number 3, the Bitcoin network is more secure than ever. I don't know if that make a big deal on it or not, but to me, I don't know. But the final reason to be bullish about crypto says basically biggest hash rate. It's SHA 256 hash rate, which measures the quantity of computing power directed at the Bitcoin network, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, mining.
And but yeah, that's what they're saying on here. And then they're saying it could possibly be like the start of a bull run or something. But I think we're still pretty deep in the bear market. I'd say it's still going to come down maybe one more time at least sometime in the future. I don't think we're going to start going up at this point. I don't feel like it. I could be wrong. Not financial advice. But
I hope it goes down. I'm gonna
accumulate more. That's the way to go.
Yeah.
Talking about Bitcoin.
I got a pretty nice article here pulled up.
Right.
Basically, it's about how the U.S. banking crisis was employed to push the CBDCs, and basically what it's saying is that the recent banking crisis was a ruse to accelerate central bank digital currency adoption, which is CBDCs. And the general partner at Castle Island Ventures said this week that the political case for CBDCs became much, much stronger this weekend. The issue with CBDCs has always been disintermediating commercial banks, and that basically no one trusts the commercial banks. And now it's important to note that different CBDC models exist, including the wholesale model, which uses banking intermediaries. Nonetheless, as further details of the crisis comes out, which also means the allegations and deliberate ploy to smear the cryptocurrency name, which that's really what's been going on, is just all the behind the scenes, like Sam Bankman-Friedman and all of them, like it's just like smearing cryptocurrency, and that's why a lot of people are starting to hate crypto because of all the bad apples. And it ain't really the tree, it's the apple,
Yeah.
But
good way to put it.
now obviously he mentioned the Silvergate banking collapse, and that happened on March 9th, and it was winding down its operation because of the Q4 earnings report that came out, and everybody was withdrawing their assets and taking them off of the bank or out of the bank or whatever, and they had a surge of withdrawals, and it forced a sell-off and a loss to cover its withdrawal liabilities, basically. And then it says Silicon Valley Bank was taken over by the FDIC on March 10th, as the ailing tech lender was subject to a liquidity crisis from a spat of mass withdrawals. Now, it's basically an anti-crypto message is what they're trying to send. And Signature Bank board member and former U.S. Representative Barney Frank told CNBC the bank faced no insolvency concerns and was arbitrarily seized. Frank put this down to regulators wanting to smear the crypto industry. I think part of what happened was that regulators wanted to send a very strong anti-crypto message. And Adam Cochran, partner at Syneum Ventures, whatever, said it was worrying that FDIC protocols could be used to screw over shareholders. Cochran spoke of political wrongdoing, and to push the hidden agenda, he called the actions a thinly veiled attempt to bully the crypto industry. He says regulators try and bully the industry without letting it get to that because they know they can't fight on a fair playing field. Then you had another guy chime in, Jimmy Song, who said that how and where money can be spent, and that don't make no sense, because how you gonna tell somebody where they can and can't spend the money? That don't make no sense. But that's pretty much the article on that. I just want to cover that the speculation that it's a crisis and it was a ploy and stuff like that to push CBDCs into adoption. Do we have anything?
There's, let's see. Let's see. Goldman Sachs now. That's more like regular type news right there, but not so much the crypto stuff. That's pretty much it. Pretty good.
Yeah, there ain't really a whole lot of news. I mean, basically, price is going up today. That's all I need to know. That's all
Yeah,
you
I
need
mean,
to
a
know.
nice little pump compared to
Yeah.
what it was. Like it got down to, you know what I'm saying? Bitcoin got down to like around 19.
Yeah,
something.
19,000.
And then, I mean, that's a pretty
High-
big gain in
high
a short period of time.
19,000,
If
yeah.
somebody had bought some and then held on to
I mean,
it.
that's why I say you can make money on the daily. You know, if you're pretty good at playing with charts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't really recommend that unless you know how to read.
It's
them
crazy
right.
because, you know, the price will go up and down, and it's like people don't want to buy it when it's down in general.
Yeah.
And they want to buy it when it goes up. But
Typically, they're a
it's
little
like
too late.
backwards, you know, kind of mentality thing. But, you know, that's when you want to buy it if you want to make money off of it.
Yeah.
And but basically, it's like where was I going with this? Oh shoot, I forgot where I was going with it now. But
Yeah,
anyways,
it'd be
I'll
like
think of
that.
it in a minute. But yeah, it's just people tend to do it kind of backwards and stuff. And then, like I said, that's the best time to get in if you want to. Oh, I was gonna say so. You know, a Bitcoin is still a Bitcoin, whether the price is like $10 or if it's $70,000. It's still the same thing that you're
Yeah.
buying. An Ethereum token, whatever. It's still the same product.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed about the
Yeah,
product. You
nothing
know what I
changed.
mean? Except for the price. You know.
Yeah.
So if it goes down and you
You
get
just
a
hold.
cheaper sell, I mean a cheaper price, then you're still getting the same thing. You know, you want to buy something, the same product when it's down here cheaper, or you want to buy it when it's higher. I mean,
Yeah,
it don't
right.
make no sense to
Everybody-
wait for it to go up.
Yeah, it's like gas going up. You know,
Yeah,
$3
yeah,
over
yeah.
$3.
Right.
Well, we used to get gas at $1.89 or $2. Well, you're buying at $2, ain't you? You're not.
Yeah.
You don't want to buy when it's at $3, right?
Yeah,
But you got to
right.
type of deal. But yeah, I
That's
mean,
just the way the market goes, though. It's like one of them things where it's just, I mean, it's just crazy.
It's crazy how people think, though. Really, you know, like I like doing the education and the news when there is a whole lot of news going on.
Right.
We obviously started this podcast / talk show or whatever a little late, you know, especially when Voyager went down and FTX went down and Silvergate and all that, you know. But you know, obviously there'll be more news.
Oh
Because,
yeah, there'll be.
you know, there's going to be sponsorships, partnerships, and I would really rather cover the positive stuff about crypto
Yeah,
anyway,
I would too. Yeah.
and you know, the stuff that it brings that's actually valuable, and not to mention once we get more followers and you know, people that actually interested in crypto and can you know, listen to us talk about it. But once we get enough of them people like that, of you guys watching us and stuff like that, you know, y'all will be able to ask us questions, and it'll make the show a whole lot easier for us because we'll have specific talking points and, you know, covering information that you guys want to learn, instead of us just trying to start at the beginning and, you know, kind of hard to explain every little thing because we may be missing certain steps.
Yeah, to help them, like, because they can ask us the questions that they're interested in. Or
Not to
topics or
mention,
whatever.
like, you got guys that do know about crypto, and
Yeah, they might teach you
because
something.
you know, there's a lot of people that's at work that know about crypto, but then again, you know, you ask them about this and they don't know about this, but they know about this.
Mm-hmm.
So really what it takes is everybody learning from everybody.
That's exactly
and
right.
That's key is, you know, again, knowledge is power. So you're supposed to try to learn as much as you can, and you know, it'll be really beneficial to you, especially with this being, you know, it ain't fairly new, but at the same time, it ain't evolved enough to where it's at its peak, right? Like there's still plenty of more room to grow and all that
Yeah,
good stuff.
yeah.
And even if you get into it, not just to make money, right? You need to, because obviously the first step is learning about it
Right.
and understanding it and the different ways of how to be able to make money utilizing it, whether it be running nodes, earning passive income 24/7, or if it has to do with mining crypto, which is another passive income, making money 24/7. Or if you're a day trader, you want to be a day trader, you want to be a swing trader, you want to be an accumulator, and then it's all goals and planning and uh, figuring out where you want to be at. I mean, that's the most important thing is everything takes planning and strategizing and understanding what you're trying to accomplish. Because everybody's trying to do something for money. I mean, if you ain't doing nothing, if you're not trying to do something to potentially bring you income, you're really not doing nothing to benefit yourself, right? You're just wasting time pretty much. And again, my philosophy is time and money, and everything I do is trying to build that income, and you guys should be doing the same thing. Don't waste your time. Like if you going down the road, I was gonna make a video on this too, but I'll go ahead and talk about it. Is I had told you the other day, like a lot of people they waste so much time, and like when they're commuting to work or they're at work, and they're not utilizing their time in the best capabilities of, like, say, are you researching or are you trying to learn something? And it don't matter if you're not interested in crypto, that's fine. If there's one thing that you get from this video is utilizing your time and managing your time to learn whatever you're trying to do, whether it be working on cars or getting into real estate, getting this real estate license or getting a business license or whatever it is, you got to take time to learn it, right? And that's how you got to do it.
Right.
And that's how you got to
start somewhere.
Yeah.
Build your way up.
You got to start somewhere, and it all takes research. YouTube video, watch YouTube videos.
Reading white papers.
White papers on crypto.
Just
certain websites and stuff that you can read different aspects. But the best thing to do is go straight to the source. If you want to learn about that coin, would be, again, the white paper. I mean, because that's going to tell you what they're trying to do, what they're trying to accomplish, what you're going to get, what you're going to benefit from by being part of that community.
And look for a real utility, like looking in that white paper for like something that is trying to solve a problem.
Yeah,
like a good big problem, type of thing.
And then make an educated guess and or an assumption, go with your gut, that type of thing. And I think that'll cover pretty much everything. And we're gonna move into coin of the day, which we mentioned earlier is gonna be Chiliz. And I'll let Eric cover what Chiliz is, but again, it's a coin that was produced in the sports and entertainment space.
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit earlier. Seemed like there was another coin that was similar to it, but like Chiliz kind of dominated on it. There was, as far as the sports thing, years ago or something. I can't remember that of it either, but it seemed like it kind of knocked it out of the water a little bit. But so they're building a Web3 infrastructure for the sports entertainment is basically what it is. It's going to be for the teams, the fans, the developers. They are continuing to grow this network, and they're bringing everything together. It's a layer 1 EVM. It's on a compatible blockchain, and in America, well, the whole world, how big sports are and stuff. And if this thing takes off and gets really accepted in the future, but I feel like it will, there's no telling where it's thinking. Really, you think about it, especially getting in on, real low on it now.
And sports just in general is worldly too. Like it's global.
Yeah,
it ain't just America. Football, soccer. You got all over the world.
People live and die for sports. I mean, it's pretty wild. So like the market cap right now is 824,329,000. So it's not even $1 billion yet. It's still in the millions. Still pretty low. And it's actually up 3% today. It was lower. And then, like I said, it's coming in at like 12 cents right now, a little over 12 cents. And trending volume, 111 million, in 24 hours, a little bit over that. It's ranked number 59 out of all the coins. So it's top 100,
Right.
And then...
And it has its own network, which is Socios.com or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Socios.com being the network or app or whatever you want to call it, platform.
Right. Its all-time high was over 89 cents. That was 2 years ago, March 13th, 2021.
So that's like what from now that'd be like
Oh,
almost
man.
a 7x.
It's crazy, isn't it? Then you got, so I guess 468% from where it was here. Or I've never seen that ROI before on that.
That'd be
From its
your
all-time low.
return on
Oh, 2,955%
yeah,
from the word its all-time low to where it is right now,
right.
which was like
September
0.004.
2019.
Yeah, cents. Didn't you say it come out in 2019 or 17? Which one? I can't
I
remember.
think it was
It should say on here,
yeah,
but I don't see it on here, but it's probably somewhere on there. But founded by Andrea Dreas,
2017.
2017. There's a lot of
Mm.
points 2017, you know.
Yeah.
Andrea Dreas, his current CEO. He's had over 20 years experience founding and growing web-based companies. Developed WebCity, interactive travel guide, Winamax, Chili Poker, online poker projects before founding Chili's in 2017. And
I'll tell you something else that's interesting about Chili's is very famous soccer player Lionel Messi. He's actually partnered with Socios.com, which is through Chili's, and he actually signed a 3-year contract. I think giving him like $20 million or something like that for being the global brand ambassador, which is basically he has so many followers because he's a famous soccer player that I think they said he had like 200 million or 400 million followers on his social media platform, and so
wow,
they decided to pay him like $20 million or something like that for a 3-year term of being their ambassador and basically advertising Socios.com through his fans.
mm-hmm.
So that's pretty big right there. Is they got somebody that's being the face of Chili's or Socios.com, and
yeah, that's great.
yeah, that's pretty big
Good
right
for
there.
Chili's,
and
man.
they have like 100. They actually partner with over 130 different. I don't know if it's athletes or sports organizations.
Probably
and
was.
teams. Or I think it was like 130 different teams and organizations.
Right. Yeah, I mean, so are you bullish or are you bearish on Chili's?
Well, I think in the sports world, me personally being a fan of sports, college football, basketball, stuff like that, I think it has a very good use case.
I do too.
Because I don't know if you mentioned it, but it allows the fans and the players to get rewarded for using Chili's. So you can have NFTs. If you hold NFTs,
Yeah.
they actually have their own NFT platform through that Socios.com where you can purchase NFTs. And if you're an NFT holder, you get rewarded by, say, meet and greets.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got a football fan token or NFT or whatever, or soccer NFT or basketball, more likely you'll be in like a Discord group or whatever, and that token actually allows you to have meet and greets with them, signed memorabilia, which will be physical or digital, right? Because these tokens and these projects that are doing stuff like this for the people and rewarding you for it, you're actually getting benefits out of it by actually purchasing and holding that.
And you can sell those once you get them too. Like
Yeah, right. Or you can sell them because it'll be, it ain't like every NFT is unique and it's one of a kind.
And the value could just keep going up.
Right.
I think this is interesting too. So
I mean, I'm pretty bullish on it just because of the sports world and how big sports.
And there isn't that many. They don't have any much competition right now either.
Yeah, right. I don't think they have too much.
And also, so if you have the tokens, then you can vote on certain things too.
Right.
On the Socios platform.
Crypto projects are like communities. It's almost like being in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
And you have HOA. Well, holding crypto is almost the same as having an HOA within a neighborhood type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
You get to vote and stuff like that, like you said.
Yeah, so like depending on like which club it is, like what team or whatever, they're gonna modify like what you're allowed to vote on, that kind of thing. So it's gonna be different for
Yeah.
different ones. But basically, like, so if you hold the tokens, and probably depending on how many you hold, I imagine too,
Right.
you can actually make decisions that can range from like jersey designs to team matchups, exhibition games, and it's probably just going to keep going and going from there, type of thing. So it actually puts you in it where you have some control on the stuff and put your,
I did see something where I think that was AI, where they was getting into creating artificial intelligence basketball players. I think that's what I seen it on. I can't remember if it was like Charles Barkley and Shaq and them was talking about it, but anyway, it was something crazy where where the phone scanned them, put them in the game, and you can play and whatever. But yeah, I mean, gaming and this technology right here, it's gonna be big. Chili's definitely be something as long as they keep on and put that work in.
Yeah. And I feel like that's a sector that's just going to take off because everybody's about sports and stuff. They go crazy over it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much about all the time we got. It's right at an hour right there.
Right. So hold on 1 second. Okay. So my bad. So that covers the coin of the day. We went over the news and we went over the utility of crypto, and we went over a little bit of the value of it. Now, obviously, that's really like a dense version of all the information, right? Like it ain't everything; it's just a little piece of it.
Yeah, we kind of got scattered around here and there a little bit, but that's just how it is sometimes when you got that much information and trying to cover it in a shorter period of time.
And basically, so we covered a good bit today, and our next video is going to be covering the market cycles and how the cycles work and how the market works. And,
that'd be a good one.
And stuff like that. So if you're interested in that type of content, make sure you check us out. Our next video will be Thursday, roughly around the same time, 6 to 6:30, I would say. And hope to see you there. And not sure what the next coin of the day or the news will be for next or for
maybe
this coming
somebody
Thursday.
could leave some comment and they want us to cover one in between then and now or something.
Yeah, right. Hopefully by the time we get to tomorrow or by Thursday, maybe we'll have some comments on the video of people being interested in different coin or whatever y'all are interested in. And I guess until next time, until Thursday, we out.
Thanks for watching.